Cleveland Browns insider who is giving some information about Browns new head coach Todd Monkin plan, and he does plan to add some sort of another quarterback into the mix. Regardless, it might be somebody like another quality veteran backup like a Tyler Huntley, and point of the matter is Dillion Gabriel appears to be the odd man out, and it looks like he may be getting cut by the team.
Look at that body language. That's not analysis. That's a death sentence being delivered in real time. Cleveland Browns insider dropping the hammer on Dillion Gabriel's NFL career before it even started. Third-round pick in April 2024. Cut candidate by February 2025. 10 months from draft day to unemployment line. So what went so catastrophically wrong that a team is ready to eat a third-round investment after one season?
Locked on Browns. Locked on Browns.
But that's where I stand on it right now. And speaking of things looking different, I think there's one obvious person in the room who's probably the odd man out in a situation where the Browns add to the room. We'll talk about that coming up next. Matched Me. They do a really good job of assessing deserves at Indeed.com/LockedOnToday. And thank you for making the Locked On podcast every other major podcasting platform. Want to become an everydayer. In Deshaun's case, revive his career. I just think he's probably going to make at least one tweak, one addition.
Now here's where it gets specific. Todd Monkin, the new head coach, isn't just looking to add depth. He's actively planning to replace Gabriel entirely. They're targeting another veteran backup, someone like Tyler Huntley. That's not competition. That's replacement. And notice what they said. Gabriel appears to be the odd man out. Not might be. Not could be. Appears to be. That's insider speak for it's already decided. We're just being diplomatic about it. The math is brutal. If Cleveland drafts another quarterback in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round this April, they'll have 3 young developmental quarterbacks plus Deshaun Watson, 3 projects and 1 veteran. And here's the question that seals Gabriel's fate. Do they really think Todd Monkin has the bandwidth to develop 3 rookies simultaneously? The answer is no. Someone has to go. And that someone is the guy who already proved he can't handle NFL speed.
All right, man. That was his, and they also addressed this on 92.3 The Fan, man. Dillion Gabriel might be getting cut from this team.
Open to the prospects of what could happen at quarterback.
Except for Dillion Gabriel. Dillion Gabriel is
I've already traded him like 10 times already this offseason, so
Atlanta
I don't know what to
does
tell you.
have a 4th-round pick.
I have done every...
Yeah, man. Kevin Stefanski, you can come on and get Dillion. You can come on and get Dillion, but as of now, man, Dillion Gabriel might be cut, man. Dillion Gabriel might be out there on the street looking for a job, looking for a practice squad spot somewhere or something if he gets released, man, because the way he played, I don't see a team just jumping to sign him. So it looks like he's the odd man out.
Convo with the idea that Dillion Gabriel's not going to be on the team.
I think everybody has.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things.
Which is what I'm okay with because I don't think he's interesting. But I just think that's interesting because he is their highest draft pick in that room from last year.
This is where the Kevin Stefanski factor becomes crucial. Listen carefully to what they're saying. Gabriel was a Stefanski guy. That's not just context. That's the entire explanation for why he's getting cut. Andrew Berry, the GM, has zero loyalty to Stefanski's picks now that Stefanski is gone, and the fanbase is already giving Berry a pass on the Gabriel selection. That was Stefanski's mistake, not yours. It's the perfect political cover to cut bait, but here's what makes this particularly damning. They're openly discussing trade value. 4th round pick, maybe. 7th rounder, possibly. But listen to the uncertainty in their voices. Nobody knows if Gabriel has any trade value at all. Compare that to draft day 2024, when multiple teams reportedly had 4th round grades on him. 9 months later, they're hoping for a 7th, that's not depreciation. That's collapse. And the Peter Wentworth comparison they mention. That's Cleveland media code for complete bust that we need to forget immediately. When your name gets used as the cautionary tale, your career in that city is over.
He was a Stefanski guy, though.
I mean, Todd Monkin doesn't
But
like
they've
Dillion Gabriel.
already gotten that cleared. It's a Stefanski guy. There's no.
That's actually what we
Andrew
need.
Berry doesn't have to hang on to that in any sort of way. The fan base has already given him the old Peterlin pass for that. Like,
Yeah, but you shouldn't
The
just.
Peterlin pass.
he's good.
You shouldn't
Wipe
just
your
discount.
hands clean of it.
You should. Well, you shouldn't. If I'm sitting here and I'm listen, I don't think Dillion Gabriel has got the goods. I think I've made that clear. I've made tiny hands jokes. I've made you must be this tall to ride this ride kind of things.
Yeah.
At the same point, like, he's on the roster. You did take him with a top 100 pick. I don't care who drafted him, unless you can get value for him. Why shouldn't he be a part of the quarterback derby?
Well, I don't even know what that value is, by the way. It'd be interesting to find out. Like Keith's saying, if you can get a fourth rounder, you're not getting a fourth rounder for Dillion Gabriel.
Then he's here next year.
I don't know that you're getting. I don't even know that you get a seventh rounder for Dillion Gabriel at this point, unless Stefanski was like, "Let's do this and we'll really make this work."
Now this is the part that reveals everything about how the NFL evaluates quarterbacks. Watch how they break down the size issue. 5 foot nothing. Can't see over the line. Tiny hands. These aren't just casual observations. These are disqualifying physical traits unless you have elite generational talent to compensate. And here's where the Kyler Murray comparison becomes devastating. Murray is 5'10", not much taller than Gabriel. But as they point out, Murray has God-given ability and talent that's light years ahead of Gabriel. Murray can make throws that defy physics. He can extend plays with his legs. He can process information at elite speed. Gabriel has none of that. He's undersized without the elite talent to overcome it. The brutal truth they're dancing around: when you're that small, you need to be Russell Wilson in his prime, or Kyler Murray at his best. You need to be so good that teams overlook the height charts. Gabriel isn't that. He's just a short quarterback, with average arm talent and below average processing speed. That's not an NFL starter. That's barely an NFL backup.
We'll give him the Peterlin pass. I don't know.
Peterlin pass.
I don't know to a fourth round, but the idea that people were going to spend a fourth round, and the Browns weren't the only team that were going to spend a fourth rounder on him. I know they're the only team that spent a third rounder on him, but the idea that there were teams offering them a fourth rounder last year. If you look at the Browns and go, he had no O-line, no wide receivers, and his head coach was about to be fired.
Yeah.
I think it would be it would be crazy to me if all of a sudden the best you could get for him is a 6th-round pick.
Can Monkin find the good in him as well? Because I made the argument that I think Monkin can find the good in Deshaun Watson, because he's one of these guys that it reminds me of Coach Riz in many aspects, where they just find the good in all these quarterbacks. I'm sure he can find plenty to like about Dillion Gabriel if he wants to.
Yeah, he should. That's why, the idea. Because here's the thing. Again, I need it to be said because I don't want another show to pick up this audio that's going to be clipped by Keith and then go, "Well, I don't know what it means." When you listen to a 30-second clip, when there's
Here's what they're not saying directly, but what's screaming between the lines. The Browns are worried about the quarterback derby itself. If Gabriel stays on the roster, he becomes part of the competition. And if Deshaun Watson continues struggling, if Dorian Thompson-Robinson doesn't develop, suddenly you're in a position where Gabriel might actually see the field. And Todd Monkin cannot afford that. He's a new head coach trying to establish credibility. He needs quarterbacks he believes in, not quarterbacks he inherited from the previous regime. This isn't about giving Gabriel a fair shot. This is about Monkin building his own room with his own guys. The comment about finding the good in players is particularly telling. Yes, great coaches can maximize talent. But there's a difference between maximizing and manufacturing. You can maximize Deshaun Watson because the talent is there buried under injury and rust. You can't manufacture NFL quarterback ability in someone who doesn't have the physical tools or processing speed. Gabriel needed elite coaching in college to be productive. He needs perfect circumstances to function. The NFL doesn't provide perfect circumstances.
clear here. I don't think Dillion Gabriel has got the goods, but I'm not the rest of the NFL. And if Kevin Stefanski gets a pass for what the Browns offense looked like, if pretty much everybody that was on the offense gets a pass beyond Shedeur Sanders because the offense looks like crap,
but I'm also
then
not
theoretically I can't just sit here and go, well, I'm going to give Shedeur this pass, but not the other quarterback they drafted.
But I'm also going to sit here and understand their circumstance and how it's different, how it's changed since Stefanski isn't here. And I think that's the big part of this. Do I believe that Stefanski is the one that loved Dillion Gabriel? Yes, I do. And so, like, if you're Andrew Berry, you just don't have to have the loyalty to Dillion Gabriel that you maybe once did, or at least what Kevin Stefanski once showed him. Like that's what we're talking about.
No, fair, but you also don't have to throw him out of bed for
You don't
nothing.
have to. No, if you,
I don't know
again,
what
this
throw him out of bed came
if they
from. That
run
was
it,
gonna-
no, but if they look at it and say we want to draft a quarterback instead, then you're out of numbers. Like you've lost the spots. That's where Dillion Gabriel loses.
Watch this exchange about roster spots. They're laying out the exact scenario that gets Gabriel cut: draft a quarterback, sign a veteran. Keep Deshaun Watson because his contract is unmovable until 2026. Keep Dorian Thompson-Robinson because he was a 5th-round pick in 2023 and still has developmental upside. That's 4 quarterbacks. Gabriel is number 5, and nobody keeps 5 quarterbacks. But here's the deeper issue they're identifying: runway length. How much time does Monkin need to develop each quarterback? Thompson-Robinson needs at least another year. Any 2025 draft pick needs 2 to 3 years. Gabriel would need 2 years minimum, and that's assuming he can develop at all. You can't give 3 different quarterbacks multi-year development timelines simultaneously. Something has to give. And the decision is obvious: cut the guy with the lowest ceiling. Gabriel's ceiling is career backup. Thompson-Robinson's ceiling might be starter. A new draft pick's ceiling is unknown. Watson's ceiling used to be elite. You keep the unknowns and the former elite guy. You cut the known commodity with limited upside.
Open up the season, there's a realistic possibility that Dillion Gabriel could be the 3rd quarterback in that mix as well.
If we're asking people to be open-minded about Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, then we should probably be open about Dillion Gabriel too. And that's not an endorsement.
Dylan can't. He's just not good enough. I'm sorry. He can't see over the line. He's just not talented. When you are that size, you have to be a super talent. And I'm not a big Kyler Murray fan. Kyler Murray is leaps and bounds, light years ahead of Dillion Gabriel in God-given ability and talent. And that is, Kyler Murray has the type of talent you need to be that little to play quarterback. And I'm not big on him. He's not one of the better quarterbacks. Dillion Gabriel is just not talented enough to be that little and to be a quarterback. He's just not good enough. It is what it is.
Now let's talk about what happens when Gabriel actually hits the market, because this is where the story gets even darker for him. They're joking about trading him 10 times already this offseason. That's not a joke. That's a cry for help. Cleveland has been actively shopping Gabriel to every team in the league, and nobody wants him. Not for a 4th rounder. Not for a 7th rounder. Not for anything. Think about what that means. 31 other teams have looked at Gabriel's tape, looked at his measurables, looked at his college production, and said no thanks. That's not one team making a mistake. That's league-wide consensus that he's not worth a roster spot. And when he gets cut, where does he land? Practice squad? Maybe. But even that's not guaranteed. Practice squads are for developmental players with upside or veterans who know the system. Gabriel is neither. He's a 2nd-year player who already proved he can't develop and doesn't know any systems well enough to be a valuable practice squad arm. The comment about him being out on the street looking for a job isn't hyperbole. That might literally be his reality by September 2025. Undrafted free agents with better size and comparable college production will get signed before him. Teams will take flyers on small school guys with big arms before they take a flyer on the known quantity that is Dillion Gabriel. Here's what makes this a cautionary tale for every college quarterback: production doesn't matter if the physical tools aren't there. Gabriel had an incredible college career. He put up massive numbers at UCF and Oklahoma. He was a Heisman candidate. None of that matters in the NFL if you're 5'10" with small hands and an average arm. Scouts tried to warn everyone. The pre-draft reports all said the same thing. Great college player, limited NFL upside due to physical constraints. Cleveland took him anyway in the 3rd round, presumably because Stefanski thought he could scheme around the limitations. 1 season later, with Stefanski gone, the new regime is admitting the obvious: you can't scheme your way around fundamental physical deficiencies at the quarterback position. The Kyler Murray comparison they keep coming back to is the key to understanding this. Murray is 5'10" and thriving in the NFL, but Murray ran a 4.47 40-yard dash at his pro day. He has a cannon arm. He can make every throw. He's electric with his legs. Gabriel has none of those elite traits. He's just short. And in the NFL, just short gets you cut. What's particularly brutal about the timing is that Gabriel doesn't even get a 2nd year to prove himself. Most third-round picks get at least 2 seasons unless they completely implode, but the coaching change gave Cleveland the perfect excuse to cut bait early. New coach, new system, new philosophy. Gabriel was the old regime's guy. Clean slate means he's gone. And here's the business reality that nobody wants to say out loud: cutting Gabriel now saves money and roster space for someone Monkin actually wants. The dead cap hit is minimal. The opportunity cost of keeping him is significant. Every day Gabriel is on the roster is a day they could be developing someone else. The math is simple. The decision is obvious. So what's the lesson here? If you're an undersized college quarterback, you better be Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray. You better have elite traits that make teams forget about the height chart. Because if you're just good, if you're just productive, if you're just a winner without the elite physical tools, the NFL will chew you up and spit you out in less than a year. Dillion Gabriel is about to become a cautionary tale. Third-round pick to unemployed in 10 months. And the saddest part, he probably saw it coming. When your own team's insiders are openly discussing your release in February, when trade talks go nowhere, when the new coach is actively looking for your replacement, you know what's coming. You just hope it doesn't happen. But hope doesn't change reality. And the reality is that Gabriel's NFL career is over before it ever really started. So drop a comment. Is Cleveland making a mistake cutting Gabriel this early? Or is this just the brutal reality of the NFL? And if you were Gabriel, would you try to stick around as a practice squad guy? Or would you look at alternative leagues like the CFL or XFL? Because those might be his only options come September. Hit that like button if you think the Browns are making the right call, and subscribe because we're going to follow this story all the way through the draft to see who Cleveland takes to replace him.